As tiny as they are, these insects are very deadly. From the Japanese giant hornet to the black widow spiders, watching them in action is a devastating sight to behold. If you thought bees were the only deadly insects, then the rest on our list will leave you stunned. Starting at number 10 with kissing bugs. Commonly known as kissing or vampire bugs, these bugs earned the name because they love to bite humans around the soft part of their lips, which is basically just like kissing. Mind you, they are not in any way romantic, as they are also some of the deadliest insects in the world. Found mostly in the Americas and also in some parts of Africa and Asia, these kissers are blood-sucking disease carriers that transmit bacteria and viruses to their unfortunate food source. Kissing bugs transmit Chagas disease, a disease that infects about 6 to 7 million people and is responsible for the deaths of about 12,000 people annually worldwide. Victims typically show no signs for 4 to 8 weeks, and even in chronic cases, most victims show few symptoms. About 45% of people who get bitten by kissing bugs develop heart disease 10 to 30 years after the initial infection, and this can result in sudden heart failure. There is currently no satisfactory treatment for Chagas disease, so it's best to avoid kissing bugs altogether. Moving on from the insect that loves to kiss, next on our list is bullet ants Paraponera clavata. Also commonly known as the bullet ant, is mostly found in humid lowland rainforests in Central and South America. Bullet ants are about only 1 to 2 inches in length, but a bite from them is so painful you would feel like you've been shot. Its sting is ranked the highest of all insect stings on Schmidt's Sting Pain Index, an insect pain index created by etymologist Justin O. Schmidt. This means the bullet ant has the most painful sting in the world. Schmidt described the sting of the bullet ant as walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch rusty nail in your heel. The sting is so painful that it causes a wave of burning, throbbing, and an all-consuming pain that continues non-stop for up to 24 hours. Common symptoms from a single bullet ant sting include lymphadenopathy, edema, tachycardia, and fresh blood in human victim feces. In severe cases, the victim might become paralyzed. Japanese giant hornet. Our list wouldn't be complete without bees. According to the CDC, bees were responsible for 89 deaths in America in 2017. While the stings of most bees are extremely painful and can induce allergic reactions, the most dreaded bee is the murder hornet, also known as the Asian or the Japanese giant hornet. Measuring about 2 to 3 inches, the hornet carries a venom that can lead to kidney failure, paralysis, and even death. Death from the sting of a murder hornet is usually a slow and painful one. Also, an enzyme contained in its venom can dissolve human tissue. Like mosquitoes, the hornet is attracted to sweaty human bodies, those who drink alcohol, and those who smell sweet. The venom from the hornet attracts others of its kind to its victim. Murder hornets are native to Japan and other parts of Asia, although they have recently been spotted in other regions like America and Canada. They are usually found in deep forests, so you might want to be on the lookout when visiting one. Tsetse fly. Tsetse flies are mostly native to Africa. These flies carry a deadly disease called sleeping sickness. The disease is 100% fatal without treatment, and its treatment is complicated. There are drugs for the treatment of sleeping sickness, but they must be administered with great care, and oftentimes the parasite develops a resistance to these drugs, which can result in death. Basically, we are saying you should avoid getting bitten by tsetse flies at all costs, as a sting from these insects can be a death sentence. Symptoms of sleeping sickness include fever, severe headaches, confusion, poor coordination, numbness, difficulty sleeping, and finally death if left untreated. Because of how deadly the sickness is, scientists are more focused on controlling the bugs rather than finding a cure for sleeping sickness. Mosquitoes. The mosquito is a fascinating insect. This tiny insect is responsible for the deaths of more than 700,000 people annually. Interestingly, the mosquitoes themselves are not deadly. It is the parasites, bacteria, and viruses they carry and pass on through their bite that we should worry about. They are the carriers of some very deadly diseases like malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zola, chikungunya, West Nile, and lymphatic filariasis, with malaria being the most common and the one responsible for the highest death toll. It is estimated that in 2017 alone, about 435,000 people died of malaria worldwide. Malaria is transmitted only by females of the Anopheles mosquito. Mosquitoes have a special organ that helps them detect the CO2 from human breath and guides them to their victim to consume blood. The bloodsuckers, however, seem to prefer beer drinkers, most likely because beer increases the ethanol content in sweat, and mosquitoes are attracted to ethanol. Honeybees. There is something rather unique about honeybees. They are the only species of bee that dies after stinging a human. However, honeybees are not exactly aggressive species. They are a mostly peaceful group of insects who spend most of their time foraging for pollen and nectar and would only attack when they feel threatened. They also rarely stay alone and attack in swarms, stinging their victims repeatedly. African honeybees are also referred to as killer bees because they are 10 times faster than European honeybees and are usually more aggressive. In fact, they have been known to chase humans for more than a quarter mile once they get irritated. When stung by a bee, most people experience mild pain symptoms and swelling for several hours. Only people with allergies, which can be triggered by the sting, are likely to experience serious symptoms and, in some severe cases, death. When honeybees sting, they release a pheromone that informs other bees that there is a threat close by, putting the colony on high alert and ready to attack the threat. A victim who finds himself in such a situation would most likely be bitten numerous times by several bees, resulting in a high amount of venom being injected into his bloodstream, which, if left untreated, can be fatal. Symptoms could include a sudden drop in blood pressure, weak pulse, nausea, loss of consciousness, vomiting, dizziness, rash, difficulty breathing, convulsion, and swollen airways. Fire ants. Another very deadly group of insects is the fire ant. Fire ants are several species of ants in the genus Solenopsis, which includes over 200 species. They are regarded as one of the most aggressive insects on the planet, typically living in colonies in which they build large mounds and feed on young plants and seeds, but they can also attack and kill animals. Fire ants sting their victims and then inject a powerful toxic venom. They have a hive mentality and would often gang up on intruders, rarely attacking alone. The sting is so painful it feels like being burned by fire, as the spot swells up immediately, causing more pain and irritation. A tiny fire ant sting can be treated easily, but when attacked by a swarm, it may be deadly. Some people also develop an allergic reaction to the sting of a fire ant. Sometimes it can be so severe that the victim suffers an anaphylactic shock, which can ultimately result in death. The Indian red scorpion. There are about 1,500 known species of scorpions, and contrary to what you might be thinking, only a few dozen are venomous. However, among the venomous species of scorpion, the Indian red is the most lethal of all. In some parts of the world, up to 40% of the victims of the red scorpion end up dead. But the red scorpion isn't exactly an aggressive insect. Scorpions are shy and only attack when they feel threatened. Typically less than 3 inches in length, the Indian red scorpion packs a potent venom, which causes severe pain, vomiting, sweating, breathlessness, and alternating high and low blood pressure and heart rate. Brazilian wandering spider. The Brazilian wandering spider is a sight to behold, with its legs that span up to 7 inches. They are native to South America and parts of Central America and are commonly referred to as banana spiders because they occasionally turn up in shipments of bananas. But make no mistake, these spiders are not as sweet as the bananas they love to stay around. Brazilian wandering spiders are nocturnal hunters that build their webs at night and hide during the day. To show how vicious they are, the Guinness Book of Records has named it the world's most venomous spider, although they rarely kill humans. A bite from this spider is very toxic and can cause a burning sensation, high or low blood pressure, nausea, convulsion, hypothermia, blurred vision, vomiting, vertigo, and paralysis. The severity of the attack is closely related to the sex of the spider, since the male produces less venom and is less lethal compared to the females. Black widow spiders. This species of spider is commonly referred to as the black widow spider because the females eat the males immediately after mating. Measuring just about 1 inch, they are not the biggest of insects, but they can be very dangerous. There are 32 types of widow spiders, which include the southern, western, northern, red, grey, and brown widows. They're found on every continent except Antarctica. With their distinctive red hourglass shape, black widow spiders are considered to be the most poisonous spider in North America, with a venom about 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake. The venom contains larotoxin, a neurotoxin that causes pain, cramping, vomiting, partial paralysis, difficulty breathing, and sweating. Symptoms typically last 3 to 7 days, and only the female bite is considered dangerous to humans. Most victims recover without serious complications, but black widow bites have a 5% fatality rate. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. These insects might look tiny and even in some cases harmful, but an encounter with them can be fatal. Do stay safe, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.